The MMA world is buzzing with some major announcements, and it all starts with UFC President Dana White revealing fresh details about the promotion's groundbreaking new deal with Paramount. This isn't just another broadcasting agreement, it's a partnership that could reshape how the UFC reaches fans across America and around the globe. Sitting down to discuss the deal, White explained how the arrangement with Paramount and CBS will open up massive opportunities for the sport's biggest names and boldest ideas. While the UFC has long been the dominant force in mixed martial arts, this deal represents a step into an even bigger spotlight, with national network television playing a central role. When asked exactly how often the UFC would be featured on CBS's main network, White didn't hesitate. "Yeah, it's looking like we're gonna do 4 big events a year," he confirmed. That alone would be significant news, but then White dropped a bombshell that instantly lit up the MMA media cycle. The UFC, he revealed, is in serious talks to stage a fight at the White House itself. Yes, the actual lawn of the most famous address in America on the 4th of July next year. And not just any Independence Day, but the 250th anniversary of the United States. Imagine it. White said, a massive fight card on the lawn of the White House, broadcast live to millions on CBS. It would be unlike anything the sport has ever done. The idea of holding a UFC event at the White House is unprecedented, a crossover between sports, politics, and culture on a scale the MMA world has never seen. It's more than just another high-profile venue, it's a statement about the UFC's place in American pop culture, positioning the promotion as part of the nation's milestone celebrations. Naturally, that kind of historic event brings another big question. Could the UFC tempt back some of its biggest stars for such a monumental card? When names like Jon Jones and Conor McGregor were mentioned, White's response was clear and optimistic. "Yeah, absolutely," he said. "We basically go every Saturday. There's no off time for the UFC. I'm always looking to put on the biggest and best events from the bottom of the card all the way to the top. Over the next several years with Paramount and CBS, we're gonna do some amazing things, and I'm always looking to bring in the best talent, put on the greatest fights." Those words alone have set the rumor mill into overdrive. MMA fans are already imagining Jon Jones fighting under the lights on the White House lawn, or Conor McGregor making a blockbuster comeback in front of one of the most symbolic backdrops in American history. With the UFC's history of making the impossible possible, from Fight Island to stadium events in multiple continents, nothing can be ruled out. If Dana White gets his way, UFC's 4th of July at the White House could go down as one of the most iconic events in the sport's history, blending athletic greatness with a celebration of America itself. Now move on to the second story. While UFC President Dana White continues to tease massive future events including a historic fight card at the White House, not every fighter is eager to jump into that kind of spectacle. One man making that clear is heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall, who has completely shut down the idea of facing Jon Jones at such an event. For months, the MMA community has been buzzing about the possibility of Aspinall and Jones finally crossing paths. It's the kind of matchup that fans dream about, a reigning heavyweight champion in his prime versus arguably the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. But as far as Aspinall is concerned, that dream fight doesn't exist. Not in his mind and not in his plans. Speaking with Ariel Helwani, Aspinall was as blunt as ever. "Do you want me to be honest? It has spent 0 seconds in my mind. That's it. Not interested, mate. Not interested. The world shouldn't be interested either, because what's the point? Just false hope." Those words may sting for fans who've been holding on to the idea, but they reflect a frustration that's been building among fighters and spectators alike. Jon Jones, a legend in the sport, has fought only once since early 2020, capturing the heavyweight belt from Tsarukyan before being sidelined with injury. His absence and uncertainty about when or if he'll fight again has led some to question whether certain fantasy matchups are worth discussing at all. Aspinall is one of those skeptics. He isn't interested in waiting around for a fight that may never materialize. His philosophy is simple: focus on the fights that are booked, not on hypotheticals that could vanish with one injury update or contract snag. Right now, that fight is a title defense against Tsarukyan at UFC 3021 on October 25th. Gain, a former interim champion and one of the most fluid strikers the heavyweight division has ever seen, is far from a warm-up opponent. His footwork, timing, and accuracy have frustrated even the most dangerous knockout artists, and although he came up short against Jones in their title bout, Gain remains one of the top threats in the division, a man with the tools to make anyone look human. The rivalry between the Aspinall and Gain camps has only added fuel to the fire. Gain's coach, Fernand Lopez, has publicly taken aim at Aspinall's comments in recent weeks, prompting the champion to fire back in interviews. The verbal exchanges have intensified interest in the fight, but Aspinall insists that all the talking will mean nothing once the cage door closes. "I thrive under pressure," Aspinall has said repeatedly. "The bigger the stakes, the better I perform." This fight will test that claim on the biggest stage of his career, with the heavyweight title on the line and the eyes of the MMA world watching closely. Jon Jones may be the ghost haunting heavyweight discussions, but for Aspinall, the path is clear. Defend the belt, beat the man in front of him, and let the rest take care of itself. Let's move on to our final news. Another fighter is busy stirring the pot in his own way. Lightweight contender Arman Tsarukyan has once again turned his attention toward featherweight champion Ilia Topuria, and this time, the call-out came with an extra dose of bite. Tsarukyan has been relentless in his pursuit of a fight with Topuria, taking every interview, social media post, and public appearance as a chance to turn up the heat. But his latest jab may be his most personal yet. Posting a short video to Instagram, Tsarukyan appeared on camera petting his dog. Smiling, he looked into the lens and delivered the line, good boy, better than Ilia." It was a simple, almost casual comment. But in fight promotion, subtlety can cut deeper than an outright insult. The clip quickly made the rounds in MMA circles. For Tsarukyan, the goal is clear. Get under Topuria's skin enough to make the UFC take notice and book the fight. Fighters understand that in today's UFC landscape, big matchups aren't always about rankings alone. Storylines, rivalries, and fan demand can turn a call-out into a contract. This pursuit isn't purely about belts or division standings. Tsarukyan has been steadily climbing the lightweight ladder, earning respect for his grinding pace, relentless wrestling, and ability to break opponents physically and mentally. But Topuria, one of the UFC's newest champions and one of its most hyped prospects, represents something bigger. Beating would be a statement, a cross-divisional scalp that cements Tsarukyan as a man who can take out any style in any weight class. On the other side, Topuria has been enjoying the spotlight since capturing the featherweight crown. His boxing, knockout power, and supreme confidence have made him a star in the making, but with the belt comes the inevitable target. Every fighter in and around 45 pounds, and even some from outside the division, wants a piece of him. Tsarukyan's call-out is just the latest in a growing list. What makes this potential matchup intriguing is the style clash. Tsarukyan is a pressure machine, a grinder who drags opponents into deep waters with his grappling and cardio. Topuria is a cold finisher, a precision striker who can end a fight with a single clean shot. The prospect of their strengths colliding makes for a fight where both sides believe they can dominate and both camps are certain they can break the other's will. If it ever gets booked, the build-up would be electric. Tsarukyan's trolling would only escalate, Topuria would fire back, and fans would watch the tension boil over until the cage door closed. Zooming out, it's a snapshot of the UFC's current landscape. Dana White is thinking big. White House cards, CBS and Paramount deals, and events that blur the line between sport and spectacle. Tom Aspinall is pushing back against fantasy fights, staying disciplined ahead of his October title defense against Tsarukyan. And Arman Tsarukyan is taking the opposite approach, manufacturing buzz and forcing the conversation toward himself. Whether it's spectacle, focus, or provocation that wins out in the coming months, one thing's for sure, in the fight game, momentum changes in a heartbeat, and the next big storyline is always just one call out away.